There are elders that know, they've known this for a long time. And they knew that as soon as we came along and took over their environments, it was time for them to let go as well and move on. And there's a lot of them that want to continue to nurture the natural environment and keep it going. But they don't realise that they have to let go because this natural environment needs to morph into something more beautiful now.
Yes, George, we do have topics on ascension and dimension later on, but in your alert for 2001 to Lisa Harrison, you said this is the year. You previously talked about it just in a few questions earlier. What do you think will be happening in 2011?
Oh, yeah. It's the next major plan. Next major step in the plan. It's like the pressure's building, because we're dismantling everything behind the scenes. When I say we, me, and many people actually on this forum here and people listening, because, you know, when you go to bed at night and then you wake up in the morning and you're a lot more tired than when you first went to bed, it means you had a really busy night working behind the scenes. It's just that some of us, the way we organise the construct of our incarnation is we actually remember some of our events and other people just blank everything out. It's just the design, it's the way you designed your life. So we're all working very hard behind the scenes, and we're actually dismantling the infrastructure of control from, you know, out there inwards. We're also doing it from the inside out. We're working from both ends. And, you know, behind the scenes, this whole thing is just finishing. It's winding up. There's 1 million people on Mars already. You know, there's groups that will be taken to Mars. There's massive ships that are in our solar system, and they're the big taxi rides for people who are going to go back to that 4D cosmic sort of environment. You know, there's a whole lot of things at play here behind the scenes, and everyone's getting ready, and we're just waiting for the one big event that's going to spill into the public arena and get the ball rolling for this final surge right to the end. And it's going to be really soon. I feel it's going to happen either somewhere after September, around September, middle of September onwards. I can't say exactly when, and I can't say exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be something, and whatever it is going to be big. Because like I said, they need to really capture the awareness and win the minds of the hearts of the people, not just win them, take control. And they'll do it with whatever plan they've got and every piece of technology available to them to create, to plunge humanity deeper into a trance so they're easier to control.
Actually, the first step to dealing with it. The next question is from Gemini.
Hello, George. Good evening.
Hey.
In your Mel Fabricus interview, you spoke of how our Earth is organic and overlaid with illusion. Can you elaborate on this subject?
Oh, I would love to. It's the awareness. Our awareness is part of a synthetic construct which is overlaid itself over the natural order of things. So, you know, we actually don't live in harmony. I mean, the fact that we're using electricity right now shows it. The level of technologies and the way we live, our cities, our buildings, the way they're constructed, you know, it's all now in cities, and even the homes here in Australia now, especially most of them are being built using steel frames, and you know, in the higher dimensions that I travelled, there's no such thing as steel. That does not exist. That element, those sort of things do not exist. Electricity does not exist. You know, these sort of things don't exist in the fifth dimension and above. So the way of life there is quite different. So, you know, there's the natural order of things, and then we have overlaid over the top. And so if you look at a city, it's like skin cancer to Mother Earth. You know, it's quite painful, and it's very it's quite a disease. It's quite, you know, it makes her quite ill. She's struggling a lot, and it's our level of awareness. This is the synthetic overlay also has to do. You know, when people talk about an illusion, let me put it this way. People say this is just an illusion, it's just a dream, it's not really real, this is all just a holograph and all that sort of business, you know, and that's a real cheap cop-out. It really is. This reality is real. What is an illusion is people's awareness and the way of life. That's the illusion. But the planet and the natural environment is real. It's an organic being. She's a very real being. She's offered up herself for a massive sacrifice so we can have this experience. And this concept of everything just being an illusion is the biggest cop out. That actually comes from fear. That comes from fear from people who don't have the capacity to actually and the fortitude to engage and live their experiences and learn from their experiences here. But what is an illusion is the awareness. It's there is a reality to it, but it is quite illusionary relative to the organic level of life here. So they are the two differentials between the illusion and the real illusion, and the natural organic construct of life here.
And how does one reach a level where they can see through
The best way that I've found to do that is to once again begin to reconnect with our inner selves, our greater selves, the part of us that organises life. Because when you start to go beyond the mind and get out of that mind construct and start getting back into your heart center, into the core of yourself, your essence of yourself, which is deep inside of you, that's the part of you that is connected with nature, that is also connected with the grander concepts of life. And that's the best way to go about it. There is really no other way which you'll do it properly. There are people try to do it, they use shortcuts. People try to, they're always looking for the magic pill or looking for this or looking for an easy way out, maybe taking ayahuasca and things like that. But that'll only get you so far. It gets to the point where there's a thick universal membrane between the fourth and the fifth dimension, and that cannot be breached by any external means whatsoever. The actual design here, this divine plan we're inside of, is foolproof, and nobody can breach, and I mean nobody, doesn't matter who you are, cannot breach that universal membrane by any external means whatsoever. It can only happen organically through going within yourself and reconnecting with your true essence that is one with everything.
Thank you, George. We're moving on to the space entities and consciousness. I have a question from forum member S. Pace. Is each entity eternal, ourselves included? How do they appear to you? I've read that bad people are red-shaded and have an odor. Are they shades of color or just white? And how do they differ in separate dimensions?
Wow, yeah. The cosmos is so full of life. Oh, crikey. There is that many different variations of life. There's a lot of humanoid races out there, heaps, loads of them in this galaxy. More the proportions of humanoid race in this galaxy are much higher than anywhere else. But there's whale beings, and I mean whales and dolphins on our planet are not fish; they're people. So there's so much. There's lion beings, there's bird beings, there's insect beings. I've seen mantis races that are some of the earliest major life forms that when the cosmos first began, it was the insect races, because things were very harsh then, so life had a very tough exterior shell, and that's why the insect races came first. Then the draconians, and then the reptilians, and then the mammalians, the birds and the mammalian races. So different beings appear in different ways. I mean, there's some that you don't see their energy. There's some that you do see their energy. I mean, there's beings who were draconian. This is a big issue with our planet at the moment. There's beings who were draconian, who marauded life, created a really beautiful humanoid embodiment, who appear quite spiritual, quite loving in nature, but are very controlling, and I feel quite evil. And they're a group of Orion Nordics. They're not what they seem. They're very passive aggressive. Their attitude is very nurturing and caring on one level, but really quite controlling on another. They're very deceptive, these ones. And then there's beings who appear as with a false synthetic light structure, and if you don't have the point of reference, within your deep into your heart, then if you have just a shallow level of awareness, you can easily be fooled by these beings, and they can express this synthetic light and love, and you think you're in front of an angelic being. And that's happening to a lot of people on this planet, especially the channelings. My goodness, there's a lot of deception happening here with that sort of thing. So it just depends on, it's not just, bad ones are red in color, and no, it's not like that. There's all sorts. I mean, we're talking about eons and eons of evolution in our universe. I just say to people, please don't be so naive to fall for the lures and the entrapments of these beings who have the ability to pose as love and light when they're not.
Is our EMF the way we appear after we shed the physical vessel?
When we shift, because the shift happens in stages. When we go back into the fifth dimension, we instantly morph our physical bodies into a 5D body. So we go even beyond the 7 chakra body, which is the 4D body. And we go into the 5D body, and it's a single energetic center in the middle of the chest. Now, that'll be for a short period of time because it's in the fifth dimension that we will ascend from. So going back to the fifth dimension it's just the next step in ascension. And when we do ascend, we implode all of our dimensional aspects, and the planet does. We do it with her, both at the same time. And that's when the crust implodes and everything. And we then, everything implodes into an infinitesimal 0 point, and then what gets birthed is universal consciousness. And so they'll have a planetary being expressing herself as universal consciousness. And you'll have the embodiments of the people being pure universal consciousness, no energetic centers, nothing like that, just pure universal light and love consciousness. And then an aspect of our consciousness will go, oh, sorry, you did say that there was ascension questions later, but it's just appropriate now. We flowed into it.
Sure.
An aspect of our consciousness will then go and start creating our own universe using the construct of light, because we will have achieved that.
So our energy is visualized through our individual EMF?
Our individual electromagnetic frequencies.
Yes.
Well, you can look at life through EMF. You can look at life through many levels. We are an assortment, an array of energetic spectrums, whether it's EMF, whether it's light, whether it's electrical. EMF is just one spectrum.
Thank you. Can we incarnate at will, or do you believe that is a privilege, if at all?
Oh, it's definitely not a privilege. It's something that's earned. And it's got nothing to do with elitism or anything like that. No, everybody's on their own journey, and the time frame. Like I'm one of the first people with many. There are many here who entered the universe before others did. So there's a lot of people here. It's not their time to ascend, and they're going to ascend on another planetary body that's setting herself up to continue this process on in this galaxy. So. Those beings who are the consciousness of those planets, I've run into them here on this planet, and they're very brave souls indeed. So they're here observing what's going on because they're facilitating this plan next. They've already begun. So, there's people who are not going to ascend because it's not their time. They haven't completed. It's all about you start when you enter this universe, you're whole and sanctified, and you're totally in balance and harmony. And as you start venturing down through the levels, and you fragment yourself and project yourself all over the place, and you explore different facets of all the different energetic charges in the universe, because it's a vibrational universe, it's a light construct. You then create charges of negative and positive in various different archetypal spectrums. And then the whole point of it is